G'day Warbanders, and today we're going to be talking about Shadow Empire. And I'm just going to give you a sort of brief or in-depth look, hopefully, at this game. It's a mix of grand strategy, war game, and sort of 4X. Very interesting combo, and it's a hex-based game, turn-based, and it's like a game where like you mix like Mad Max, 40k, and all those sort of sci-fi genres together, and you turn it into like a World War II sim basically, or Hearts of Iron 4, just in turn-based form. And I'll just get straight into it and start talking about the features I like about Shadow Empire, and that's ultimately the planet generation. Everything you see here on my screen is randomly generated. Nothing is scripted in this game. So all these rivers, all these mountains, all the enemies, all the factions, all the major factions like this big one here, they're all randomly generated by the game. And I just find that heightens the replayability of this game immensely, because a lot of games, little war games, they focus on historical events which have set outcomes. But here, every time I play a new game, it could be the easiest match ever, or it could be the hardest game ever. And in this situation, I'm going to get butt fucked by this major soon. He's going to betray me soon, even though we're at peace. He's a militarist major regime. He doesn't look happy with me. But yeah, it's just an amazing game. But another feature I want to talk about is the logistical system, which is very complicated. And so it should be in a game like this, in a war game. But I think it has the best logistical system ever in wargaming. That's probably a big statement to make, but it's the best I've seen. We have to worry about roads, you have to worry about railways like this, and you have to worry about food, water. Let me just look at this battalion here. So we have food, ammo, replenishment of troops. This game has it all. We have stats like morale, experience, so all your wargaming sort of stats, right? Entrenchment, organization, quality, readiness. So these all play a part in the combat, which I really like. An additional factor is also the Crusader Kings elements. So this game actually has character management similar to Crusader Kings 2, and I'll just show you that right now. So we go to the management tab, and you can see that I have all these characters to manage, and like, oh, Warband players, what do these characters do? They're mainly just for managing your organizations, so they help you sort of develop your empire, and you have to have a guy for each council. So these councils are mainly used for generating stratagems, all these cards, developing, researching new technology or new formations, also doing skill checks to make sure bad things don't happen. And also these characters, they can rebel against you. So if you piss these guys off and they have a spurg out, like, they're just going to get mad and rebel. So you got to deal with like all these shitheads, right? Like this dude right here, Vance Gent. He's the governor of Hawking. He hates democracy, but he loves meritocracy. I think that'd be like the same thing, wouldn't it? But who cares? He loves the militia. He has a Cat 1. So this is the main stat I use to sort of, classify what's a good leader, because the cap basically means how much they can learn in these skill areas. And like, sure, you might get like a dude that's really skilled at like the military stuff, like offensive tactics, but he will only have like a low like level if he's only Cat 1 like this dude. So the whole game in this sort of section is about replacing leaders and trying to get the best dudes, because you don't want these cunts in power because they're just shit at their job. Like in real life, you're going to have people who like your managers or whatever. There's going to be people who are shit at their job, and you got to get rid of them. And that's what I like about this game, because it has sort of that character element to it that not many war games have, like Hearts of Iron or something like that, because like sure, like the general system is like similar, I would assume, but this is on like a whole different level. As you can see, everyone has their stats, intelligence, which governs multiple things, like everything, a crucial stat for everything. And then you got war, obviously for war, and also charisma, which is important for governors. So there's lots of things to keep track of in the game. And that's why I think that a lot of people get filtered by this game, because there's just so many buttons. The UI is pretty dog shit. You know, you have to go through the manual and just search up things like what does tech level mean? What does admin level mean? You know, you have to look that stuff up sometimes. And so the biggest thing you have to worry about in this game as well is like for your research, like, you know, the tech tree is bureaucratic points. So the game does have some abstraction here and there, but it's very like small, you know. And I think it's, you know, okay to have some extraction like this where you're doling out points to research stuff. And it's also other things like you use the bureaucratic points that come from these buildings. So everything's sort of produced by all these buildings, particularly, here we go, the bureaucratic office. So this is like where like most of your BP is going to come from. And like the manual doesn't even tell you that these are like the most important resource in the game. Okay, I had to watch so many videos on YouTube on what's the best shit to build, and this is like one of the best buildings you can build, right? So yeah, the game is like the biggest flaw is that it doesn't tell you what's important. Like you have to figure it out for yourself. There's no hand holding in this game. It just chucks you in there and goes, oh, don't worry about it. Like the little advisor on the top there just says, oh, don't worry about it. We'll just leave you, just move units around. It'll work out. But, you know, I don't think you can play this game blind. You have to look at manuals and videos. That's the main downside. This game has a huge learning curve. Huge. Absolutely huge. And, you know, the combat's just like one element. You got to worry about logistics, as I said before. And you can see here, I have a little war going on here with this minor faction, a nomad faction, where I'm just sort of expanding my territory, because the whole point of this game is to take over the planet, and that's it. There's no diplomacy. It's all 40k. It's all, you know, everyone's got to die. You got to take over the entire world, and you know, you got to prepare to, you know, get peace. You got to prepare for war, essentially. And in this situation, like, you know, I'm doing pretty well, but you know, the AI is no joke in this game. Like, it does develop itself. Like this faction right here owns like half the map. It's kind of insane, right? And he's already got like 3 or 4 cities on his control, while I only have 2. And this whole game has like a population mechanic. So there's some Victoria 2 elements here, if you ever played that game, where you have populations, you have workers, you have, you know, a private economy which runs in the background. If I can just find it, because this UI is just so bad sometimes. But yeah, you have your workers, you pay them salaries. If you don't pay them enough money, they get mad. You know, here it is. So you have your private funds, you have your private food, you have your private jobs, which sort of influence, you know, if they go into the private buildings. So these are all owned by, you know, private companies, essentially, which are important for raising your civils up. Like all these buildings right here, like schools and waste, these sort of contribute to your civilization score, which affects other things. Like this, everything in this game is interconnected. Unlike Paradox games where all the mechanics are sort of disconnected, everything in this game feeds onto each other. Like your logistical network not only just goes to units like this, but also goes to your, you know, your resource gathering operations, like this particular asset here, like a dome farm. Like you need logistics to get that food in, right? And you have like all these resources you have to worry about, like food, water, oil for your tanks, ammunition. Unfortunately, it's not like Hearts of Iron 4 where you're just making bullets and stuff. You have to like just manually do it. Like that's the only thing I hate about this game as well, is you have to like produce ammunition manually. I wish it was just automatic, but whatever, that's an abstraction. And you have metal, which is like the main resource of the game, or, you know, one of the main resources, which you sort of craft into industrial points, which sort of represents sort of your industrial capacity to make tanks and weapons and all that. And we can raise troops here, so we can raise corps, brigades, armies, and you can sort of customize these, I'm pretty sure, late in the game when you tech them up. But usually you go into independent and you sort of make that, this is how you start, make some independent units, like free of command, essentially. And as you can see, there's lots of units in this game. A crucial element of Shadow Empire is the customization of units. You can sort of get everything in this game. So you got AT, artillery, infantry, light tanks, medium tanks, heavy tanks, motorized divisions, MG divisions, artillery like by itself, RPGs, which are really nice, cheap AT weapons, which are really useful in the early game. And you have to get the metal, the industrial points, the political power, and the recruits. Manpower is a crucial resource in this game, because if you don't have a happy city like I do right now, or sort of right now, like you will have low loyalty, which influences how much men you can recruit. And there's sort of different ways you can try and keep order in your country. You can kill people, you can do it like the nice way, lots of ways to play the game, and this feeds into the political system. So there's like an ideology system similar to Hearts of Iron, I would say, with the fascist, communist, whatever, and they sort of give you bonuses. These are like your different profiles, similar to a game like Alpha Centauri. We have sort of different ideologies you can go after, which give you different stuff. So I like to go for meritocracy, because I just think the abilities are just so much better. And also there's a special stratagem, which I haven't even touched yet. So these stratagems, this is like another part of the game. Why is there a card game in this, deep complex war game? But the actual card mechanics are actually pretty decent. Like it's sort of like 40k where you like draw cards and shit. The tabletop game. And these sort of represent your actions in the game, I suppose, like your diplomacy and your spying. Just sort of things that boost your stuff, like recruiting characters. These are like crucial things in the game. And, having some of these abilities here in your ideology stuff, that sort of helps with stratagems. Again, I'm having a hard time explaining this game because it's very complicated, probably too complicated. Like it doesn't probably have to have all this stuff, but it just adds to the immersion, adds to the, the depth, I believe. And let me just find it where it says, what you get. So this is what you get, essentially, if you go down, meritocracy, for example. The reason why I like meritocracy is because you get this feat here called Accomplished Envoys, which allows you to do like better diplomacy roles and recruit talent, which is, just gets you better leaders. I just find this is the better way to play. Because unfortunately, like every strategy game, Shadow Empire does have metas, but the other governments, you can play them if you want. Like autocracy, where you just like be an asshole and just kill everybody. Like that's funny, I think, but it's always better, I think, to go for meritocracy. With government, because I do like that bureaucratic bonus. Bureaucracy, so I do like that. That's my favorite government type to go after. But right now I'm in enforcement, because these things, they change over time due to these event systems. So you have this whole event system where you might get, it's like Crusader Kings, where you get these random events. So you got to go, what's the best option here? Do I make everybody happy, or do I go for the best option? And you can't really get a good or right answer. It always depends on the condition of your game and what you want. So right now I might want to build up meritocracy and go, I might want to go after this option because meritocracy and more relations with my dudes. So I'm going to go after that.
Yes, sir. And
yeah, I also like the portraits in this game. They look pretty sick. They just got updated, so they look more cleaner. The graphics are slowly getting better. And while a lot of people will probably click away from this video and go, the graphics look shit, bro, this looks like I'm in like the high command bunker of some Cold War, you know, sort of era. You know, it feels like I'm sitting down at the table and looking at my empire on these like paper sheets, you know. It's fucking epic, you know. And yeah, what else can I talk about this game? And you know, I'm just playing on the smallest map, so you can get like really giant maps. Like I'm playing on a desert planet. You can play on ice planets. You can play on frozen wastelands. You know, moon planets. Like I'm not even showing you all the mechanics in this game. You can also get aircraft. This major right here, he actually has aircraft. Interesting enough, because I don't actually I have no aircraft. I'm developing AA guns to deal with that. So hopefully when he, you know, declares war on me, I'll be ready. But you know, you don't know about that kind of stuff. And I'll just sort of talk about like, you know, the customization of units. So you can see I got different types of infantry here. I've developed all these by myself, and you develop these with new technologies and all that. Like right now, my infantry I'm trying to get upgraded to is the Gauss rifle with some padded armor. Has 129 soft attacks. So it's very like Hearts of Iron 4 with those sort of stats there, which I sort of like. That's the only part I like about Hearts of Iron 4 is like those sort of stats in the units. That's the only thing I like about that game. And I'm happy that Shadow Empire took inspiration. As you can see, your first unit, which is sort of like a dude with a slug thrower, which is like a basic gun, he only has 35 soft attack, and I've developed them to like 129. So you can see a huge difference there in the capability of the soldier. And we can look at our tech tree. Huge tech tree. So you can go from, you know, the Dark Ages with just, you know, shitty guns to like plasma guns, shield generators, light plasma rifles, mines, atomic missiles, you know, micro nukes, tactical nukes, turbojets, mechs, thopters, you know, jets. I think I said that before. Farms. You know, this game has a lot of techs, machine guns, quad machine guns. So all your sci-fi elements are in this game. And you know, you're playing in this sort of world where like it's like a post sort of apocalyptic world where there's been this big giant space war in the universe, and you're just one planet, and you know, you get all this recovered tech from the old ancient galactic republic. And look at this, man, like this huge tank with 1,683 soft attack. So you sort of discover these as you explore the world, because as you start out, you know, you're sort of like a little city state. And I like this sort of I like the units of Shadow Empire, because this shows you like this tank, I have no energy for it. Like I have no supplies for it, because I don't have like the capability to, you know, supply this tank, these 10 tanks, these 10 heavy super tanks, because I just don't have the logistics for it. And that's what I love about Shadow Empire, is it has these realistic elements where, yeah, you can sort of field these like super heavy tanks and these, you know, these big giant monstrosities, like in World War II with, you know, the mouse tank and, you know, all those sort of wonder weapons, right? But you know, if you don't have the logistics to back it up, they're kind of useless. I can't use this tank right now. It has no fuel, or no, it has no ammo, because it uses energy for ammo. So it actually can't shoot its main weapon. But I do have this massive, you know, artillery piece here called the Thunderous, nuclear engine, howitzer gun. So you can also customize all the little tiny bits. So if I go and try and build a tank right now, which I've already done, like a shitty tank. I already got a Crusader here. It has like a 25 howitzer gun, 5mm steel plating with a light diesel engine. I made this like as a shitty tank just to get out really quickly. So you sort of design sort of these unit types for specific situations. So in this instance, I wanted to get a cheap tank that was, you know, I could easily produce in mass quantity like the Soviet Union, and just like flood the ball with them, hopefully. But, you know, I'm still field testing it. It's still kind of shit, but, you know, it does the job, right? because you know you need armor, especially on desert planets like Arrakis, like the planet I'm playing on. But yeah, if I go to blueprint and I go to make a medium tank, new blueprint, you can see I can get to select all the different weapons, and sort of the graphic changes when I switch, you know, different stuff out. So like maybe I want to go for like a really big heavy tank with lots of, you know, armor and like a big giant, you know, engine. So I love how they just, like, the developer he's like modeled every change in the unit card. It just looks so immersive. And you know, you have flat guns, like, you know, you can customize the fucking flat guns, for instance. Like, I just think that's mad. Like, every unit in this game is customizable, unlike other games where it's just like set. Like, I can even give these motorbike troops Gauss rifles and they can go running around, you know, having like these buffed up stats. You know, you can sort of create your own army, and I just love that shit. But yeah, guys, that's Shadow Empire. I hope I gave you a look at like the, you know, a good breakdown of what this game actually is. It's very interesting. I haven't covered everything in this game. Like, I still haven't covered logistics, which is just a whole nother board game. But basically, you build truck stations, you build railroads, and yeah, awesome game. Everyone should play it. It's the best. It's one of the best games in the world right now. Fight me in the comments. I think this is the best war game of all time. Like in my top 10, obviously. I think it's better than Hearts of Iron 4. I think it's better than every sort of war game. It's up there with Gary Goosby's War in the East, I think, in terms of complexity. But it's not that complicated, but it's complicated enough for you to get interested in and to keep playing for like hundreds of hours. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe if you like these sort of breakdowns. Please leave some feedback if I can improve my videos any sort of way. But yeah, guys, see you later. Bye.